Yes. Last one.
Jambe yala jaza kange lodru jene jendra nyeda nanda rabsa jenye dungu jeshe se nyeje toga lebam Kanda sebe jara mare mundon donga jizera dozo gula boje dar yela doju yande doda jedo nyamani Lede jadu dunze mare monze dunga nyugu jinye jeze raldena dene dajin saju darzu yende lezu jaze Choda chodan chone jendre Tale manze jam yala marabadana Marabazanandi Senden Jeje Jerawazirani Ale de Mumbarabzandi Kadan Denju Sholo Dobai Lodru Bode Nawa Zagdo Sol Anze Dawar de Ba Chungse Dewar de Nayam Kombo Jamyan de Nin Keme Baryan Don War Sho Mula Sotini Samba Jajaba Changju Simji Kulonge Saldam de Sembar Shu Tadela Kangje Sembar Chawu Choji Rembani Patrul Rinpoche Ye Sungbe Changju Ge Kumrim Rapsal Nima Re Teni Shuwa La Sache Namba Shi Yuben Nane Tang Azu Tanda Sumba Sul Chedar Jubin Jorwa Nyamne Paro De Chamba Choju Kor La Kache Chegi Yure Dinana Da Kazang Azu Parjin Tugi Tsenye Sanamido Ngo Dindu Ngozin Chadan Chone Ni Tsenye Lako Dun Zen Sanamido Surminda Wa Shi Yuben Nane Midun Choji Kor La Shu Chumne Ane Das Delhama De Kale Ola Shugiyin
So, please start by giving rise to precious mind of awakening, that is bodhicitta, and then in that spirit listen to the teachings. We're studying a text composed by Patrul Rinpoche, which is a step-by-step guide to meditating on the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, entitled The Brightly Shining Sun. Here our text consists of the 4 sections, and we have looked at the first 2. So we finished studying what is the practitioner and what is the attitude with which one practices, and now we're looking at the practices themselves. Now, the practices themselves, that refers to the practices of the 6 paramitas, right? So the way of engaging in the trainings is the way of practicing the 6 paramitas, 6 transcendental perfections. So here we have seen that the paramitas in essence all come down to the mind, to the attitude, right? We have looked at the essence of the paramitas, and then we also have seen that to be a paramita, a training needs to be endowed with the 4 specific features, special features. And that's where we have left off in the last class. We have seen we've looked at the first among the 4 special features. That is the adverse factors for the paramitas, which have to be in decline. And now we'll continue on page 20 with the explanation of the remaining special features.
Samjingi döba yongzo zo sulni jembe longjo so chin suldimge ye tang barche sobe nöba tangdo len Tsondru gi koibe toche samjingi zuzul dang ngonshe so ye dun barche sharab ye langdur ye ne dun barche oda do so nasha chedu zanada Parjun Toga Sanyinan ne Sanyi Surji Nala Döba Tamji Yongzo Che Seganji Lebin Guyuri Sur Sumba Dirwa Nyeba di Nambar Medoba She Demba di Mixa Salga Sung Mindu Hola Tine Lebu Yozang Ma Sumba Yinsare Sumba di Döba Yongzo Chedan di Jembe Döba Kande Zobar Chegire Sidu Jembe Nozo Sangsing Gyunor Jemba Yina ane nagab ji Kurang sawa tunga la soba di chawa kangi ba di kangi di sadi yore. Ane yang tambi cho ji chenpa am rigbi ne la soba di lobjo ji chenpa chana mi ji wani kasa gore. Sherab dang, mi sheba dang, mongba dinzo sandi sherab dang dinzo nkebar cheba la tochi yore. Sok la soba kyabi cheba ni tini sok chenpi dang kangi salwa ji tini doba chenpa chegi yore sungre. Sultim ji ye dang bar che sungdu. Sultim sung yongdu, sultim yakbo sungna, mi sangma gawa dang chowa chigirwa. So rangi tsam masa shenyang ga chowa yungguyri. Kaya zani mi sultim se zin timbre. Tim yakbo sung sungna, nungba di kurang shide dang, nangmi ina nangmi shide, kimze ina kimze shide, chongjer ina chong ina nungba sangma panung soba yakbo chi yungguyri. 템 다다다다 내봐이나 아니 대 낭나게 단다 줄좀 쓴건데 다 장주 선배 줄좀 장주 선배 줄좀 내가 양도 보죠 송송나 송큰 강사들 라 강사 현지게 대화단 잘와단 된데 중화 좀 선배들 또 가와나 쪼게 요구이래 그래서 그 인제당 코제니 장주제 샘다 아니 코제 되네 내가 제단데 저단 윤도 가져게 얘기를 송배게 잘해 서베 네바 당들래 sobe soba yabu komken kansa illa samodangdu kola kamete dongalla soba kangda kang nesu theba yina yang ko chama istem mitu ba den jegi yodu ne ingje ye ngol le yore ingje kang langshin le bendu kang sama dangdo len tu yore kang dangdo len na ane yang samja mangbo jella ne karso wa dongal den zo le tarda 동아도 당도 낸단 남과도 줄 신도 돈 두고 요바 인도 서배장 현라든 반도 제기요 존조지 거의 저제 송도와 또 존조 분종 소바 야버지 잠가라 잡아야는 아주 타르바단 탐지지 뭐 고본 드르치도 칼레자고요 대 칼레자고 데우디 따디 calgirwa 거의 저건데 존조지 제기요 삼든지 조주 당원시 소지 눈버지 근데 삼든 야부지 공부를 해봐야나 그 뭐시 조주 세근도다 담면도 지든 된저다 가서 먹보지도 동원에 라는 거 ngoshe zuru yona yaga da mena tugasana da kaya marete mi mangboji da ngoshe zuru yona pe tsa shumba no yabu shuji tse doji chegi yore da di nzo gyudi samden yakboji komba ina di tetu ke tubu yore samden makom na chegi yuji marwa sherab je langdur ni ne ten barje da koya ngone te tere manangzo sherab dirwa sherab yagun da boji sheso na langja dang dorja dang 가서 semji nyomo bada sheje tibadan so khandesa pangore pangda khandera thap khandere de samade de langdo ni ne rani shegure shenla ya ten tu buyure o de ni semje member chedan de parjin tugi da dende de member chegere sung sare naso ko member kase doba tamje zodan semjen la dobi shenji doba zoba chedan de ni de res naso.
And so among the four special features that each of the 6 parameters need to be endowed with, the second one is the wisdom that is non-conceptual. But here, Patrul Rinpoche is not going into an explanation. He's not really providing an explanation of that specific feature, perhaps because it will be explained below in the context of the 6 parameter, that of wisdom, right? So then the third special feature is that each of our practice has to completely fulfill all the wishes. It completely accomplishes all desires of beings. So in what way does that happen? Here the text reads, the various ways in which they fulfill the wishes of beings are as follows. Now we're going to look at each of the 6 practices and see in which way they fulfill the wishes of beings. So generosity, as it says here, leads to the giving away of possessions and so on. In this way, the practice of generosity fulfills the wishes of beings by giving desirable objects, right, to them. For example, to fulfill a wish of beings, it would be to fulfill a temporary wish of beings would be to give them some provisions like food or drinks, right? If they are hungry or thirsty, or shelter, clothes, all of this, belongs to the practice of generosity, where the wishes of beings, temporary wishes, are fulfilled thereby. Or, for example, would be also sharing our knowledge and skills, right? If we have acquired special knowledge, some skills, or any type of quality, if we use it to help beings, right, we share that knowledge with beings, that would be, again, giving away. So possessions perhaps is not the best translation here of this term in Tibetan. So basically it's giving desirable objects, whatever it may be. It could be material things, but it also could be giving and sharing knowledge, skills, and other immaterial things. But through that, it would be fulfilling the wishes of beings. Then discipline fulfills the wishes of beings by inspiring others. So discipline is an inspiration to others. And discipline refers to our ethical, we can say, moral code, right? And when we have this kind of ethical or moral codes of being, then our life becomes harmonious in a way that we can harmoniously live together with members of our family if we all follow, right, ethics and set of rules and discipline. Or we can say we will live harmoniously in the neighborhood, in the country, and then neighboring countries will also live harmoniously. So actually this kind of harmony and well-being is established when everyone is following discipline. In a way, discipline means when everyone lives in following ethical, you can say, moral rules, and that helps and that inspires others, because when they see a being who is practicing discipline, being filled with compassion, right, and love, never harms anyone, right, that is inspiring to others. They feel like, wow, this is some kind of a role model So inspiration comes from seeing also the results of keeping discipline and of how discipline brings everyone together. As for the third parameter of patience, it allows us to face harmful situations. Well, parameter of patience fulfills the wishes in a way that through parameter of patience, we are capable of facing any difficulty. We actually willingly endure hardship, right? Through patience, whatever troubles befall us, we have guts to face it because our minds are not disturbed, right? Because the essence of patience is an undisturbed mind. And so when something difficult happens in our lives, our minds do not get agitated or disturbed, and instead only feel compassion and kindness, right? And that helps us to face the troubles. It helps us to willingly accept all these hardships. Where the diligence helps us to do what is necessary. Well, in this context of the paramitas, or the trainings of the bodhisattvas, what is necessary is an accomplishment of liberation and state of Buddhahood, and it's not possible without diligence. So this kind of enthusiastic, perseverance in practice brings about the result or the desired result of liberation and omniscience, thereby accomplishing what is desired. Where concentration produces miraculous abilities and supernatural perceptions which inspire others. Now, meditative concentration, when it's achieved, actually the byproduct is that of clairvoyance, ability to read other beings' minds, this kind of miraculous supernatural abilities. And it's not that without them we cannot, survive. It's like, oh, it's absolutely at most important quality in life. Not necessary. If it's not there, it's also okay. But somehow when it's there, many people get inspired. Many people are drawn to this kind of supernatural powers, meeting someone who is clairvoyant, right? So it actually helps to inspire beings and to show them, well, if you actually do shamatha practice, if you accomplish shamatha practice, that's the result. Because clairvoyance and this kind of supernatural perceptions, they naturally unfold from accomplishment of shamatha practice. So then it will actually inspire beings to meditate. And the last parameter, that of wisdom, allows us to point out what must be adopted and abandoned. Actually, this is like the most important parameter, right? Wisdom is such an important practice, and it accomplishes the wishes of beings by demonstrating to them what to accept and what to reject, right? Through this kind of discriminating awareness or wisdom. It also, wisdom is what happens to clear away our twofold obscurations. Afflictive emotions and also cognitive obscurations, they can be eliminated through wisdom alone. And so through that, then we can see that wisdom accomplishes all the desired, we can say desires and wishes of beings.
대답기 되버 용주 조버 제대 뭐선 균내 년대 ranjal zobe changju sum kangrong lang go ba samje yongmin shaba yin sa ta dinzo teji ne tanda parjin to de ba zo dan je ko la ke je shere de ngo su ni samje la pendo che ba na yang shu su kale samje la pendo che ba na ande de ne kangrong yong se ge de ne ngo sam gyune ni pendo che bi top ji 내가 를 판바데 거라 내가 불 되버 줘바디 돈다 줘바래 다 타르두라 판도스 제바데 니 섬전데 년조체데 칼레 년되지 고반 lokko 밤 야나 랑젤데 고반 lokko 봐 야나 장주비 고반 lokko 봐 성고반 거스 되잖아고 상케 셈바당 도 톱 셈바당나 고고 말해 디 람나 슈바 람숑데 냠는 체지 베준 체 셈바지 덴데 중나네 되게 여바래. 다 랍주나 통남이 이제 토바 마도 여바도 심점이 비슷하게 말해. 근데 링 중에는 전남기 이제 유라께서는 심점이 비슷해지는 되게. 타마 중나 더 전남기 또방은 유라께버지. 그 된대죠는 냐랑 장제 삼바 가요 뭐 코란지 람라 쭉쭉 봐이나 심점이 봐 나버려서.
Rabki di Tonglam.
알았어.
Las. Tonglam.
통남 이제
Tonglam.
귤라께봐. 통남 이제 귤라께서나 심점이 비슷해. 링 졸람 이제 귤라께봐래. 타마 졸람 깨는 되거든.
Dine natsu yeshedi.
다
Kanjes
통남 이제
figure.
말하면 되거든. 통남도 똑바나면 되거든. 통남도 똑바. 랍 통남 이제 귤라께봐. 링 졸람도 똑바 귤라께봐. 타마 아니 솔람지 되네 똑바 귤라께봐.
Yeah. Gonda de natsu simchen shenta.
심지 셴바라서.
Dije top du jukpa.
레레. 계란기 미 셴바직라 아니 소나메제 귤라께 주바당 계란기 탑람 됐네. 졸라메제 귤라께 이 졸람게 똑바 원도 귤라께 깨봐. 근데 돈은 깨봐 중바이나 네 계란기 심진 민바체비 차레스.
Then the next, fourth special feature among these four features of the paramitas is that these paramitas bring all that could be wished for and bring beings to maturity directly or indirectly by leading them to enlightenment as a Shavaka, Pratyeka Buddha, or fully enlightened Buddha. Now, the last Khenpo di karasa kicho shipara. Shipare. So here paramitas have to bring all beings to maturity at the three levels. You can say ripened beings to the three states. And that is not to say that when we practice the six paramitas, we're going to make other beings accomplish, right, Buddhahood or state of arhatship, but we will bring them to the path. If through our practice the beings enter onto the path, whether we directly instruct them or indirectly, there's different ways to benefit beings. Sometimes it is very obvious direct way, but sometimes it's indirectly. And when we bring beings to the path so that through our practice, they, at the very best, achieve a path of seeing. So wisdom, wakefulness of the path of seeing is generated in their mind stream. That's the best way to mature beings. Then we can say if that's not the case, then maybe for our practice, the wisdom of the path of joining, right? The previous path, if that wisdom takes root in their being, that's also a great result. And at the very least, our practices of paramitas have to engender wisdom of the path of accumulation. So the beings have to enter on that path through our practice. And in this way, we bring them to the maturity. Lasso?
아소니 대다고 바르도 심바 대다냐 셈중이 저벌로 두비 쪼로서 다 되네인데 다 바르도 심바 쪽 세근데 장주선배 냠는 내가 담제줄로 뇌되바 인도 나서 셈중 탑셔래 다 가정어마 셈중어서리 셈중이 냠는 랍되잖아 류 롱조 계자데 저거 폴리다 쳔바타이 도저 송나서인데 다 믹스에 가시지를 명다줘래 다 장주 선배 라바 냠는 제 양조 셈중을 타버와 바르진 상마야 아주 가인스는 가서 셈데 단다 딱 거번 낭신 네 셈데 강중만 빼면서 타고 요래 독숨 동아지 온도 쇼제 빼면서 신앙사고 요래 다디 잠보나 시와당 셈자랑신 간을 내고 요래 다는 가서 셈자랑신 간을 내요 말해 남칼라 찜바트바 나신 아니 다 강중 망중 전에 아니 내대리 다 찜바 상마 셀고 요래 찜바 셀레지 롱견바도데 아니 셈중이 맹아서는 성중을 답셔래 Timba Sam Je, Nambo Sama Zanya Chasona, and in the Sanke was on the Tego. What Tendeji, Lung Kubi Chawa de Pargentore, Pargento Yamin Chatinzore. Then Pargento Yamin Jaguna, let Ambo Be and Chimba, Lelawa Yore. And the Chimba legend Sulim Tos Karo Kalakagre. Sulim Soba Kalaka, Soba, Tsondru, some the share of the chick Kalakaga Yore. Jedu Gazo go Tambo, Yamin Chagin and Lan, Sonam Yabo, Sabe Tab, Kichedu, Sulim Sungu, Kazar Chimba Tangore, Sungure. Kankotos Lelawa Yorwa. And it did a Changma Karo, Tessawa Jikansan, and Jello Sulim Sungure, Chembale Sulim Kalakare. Sulim the Tachangma Yabo Tessawa Tinesoba, the Mama Dogo, the Mamma, the Mando Chimal, no Dogar Chesona, there's Kabu Yon Sigare. Mikashela Kabu Yon Doho Mara, the Manchavala, there's Kabu Yon. Tokjanyam do Yamni Chetuna, Yakshorwa. Jim Metogunsa, the Rembaran Dona and Digure.
And now the text is going to explain how these parameters are brought into the practice of training the mind. In other words, we'll see that these 6 parameters are condensed into practices for training the mind. We have seen the mind training already when we trained ourselves to take the bodhisattva vow by giving away our body, our belongings, and the virtue of the 3 times. So that was one specific way of training the mind. But here it is said that actually all the bodhisattva trainings are the mind trainings. So in a way, whatever we do for these practices, it's all directed to train our own mind. Right now, our minds like this wild beasts, like maybe like a wild, untamed horse. And it could be dangerous. And our minds could be dangerous when they run wild, with the afflictive emotions of anger, attachment, jealousy. They're like these dangerous, wild beasts. And so right now we need to tame them. And in other words, we need to bring our minds to the natural state of being, which is gentle and peaceful. At their very nature, our minds are gentle and peaceful, but right now they are obscured. Just like we can think of a sky, right? Our minds are as vast and clear as the sky, but right now there are these clouds, and, stormy clouds that block the sky and its natural color of the sky, this blueness. Right now we cannot see it because of the clouds. So our afflictive emotions and other obscurations are like these clouds. And what we need a strong wind that will blow away the clouds. And the strong wind, if we were to explain the analogy, in our case, that's the methods, right? That's the practices, the trainings. And then when we apply the trainings, they will blow away the clouds so the true natural state of our being will be revealed. In other words, awakening, state of a Buddha will be achieved. So how to do that? What are the methods? Well, the methods are the 6 parameters, right? That's the practices of training the mind. And how should we approach them? Well, it is said that each, the parameters, they come in this specific order for a reason. Because for the beginners like us, it is easy. The easiest practice is the generosity. Then compared to generosity, discipline is more hard to accomplish. But then compared to that, patience is even harder. Then diligence is harder than patience, meditative concentration is harder than diligence, and wisdom is the hardest of all the practices. So they actually come in this order in terms of coming from the easiest practice to the hardest. And so therefore we should also start practicing in following this progressive order. Right? We start with with generosity, and then when we are confident in our practice of generosity, when we accomplish it to some degree, we proceed to the next one, that of discipline. So actually each of the subsequent practice, relies on the previous one. Each of the following one has to come based on the previous one. So generally, we don't skip, right, any of these parameters. Of course, for some beings, perhaps they can go straight into wisdom or meditation, but for most of us, it's not that easy to just jump ahead, and we should take it slowly, step by step, following this progressive order.
Tambo chenpa ne rang lu longche tuyu sumje kewe tsawa tang cheba tamje matang nyemi tangwe penyen tongge pe kyunzen so la samne nying tangpo ne tongsem chongwa te yin sungudu. Sita ta chenpa lebre, chenpe ngode kasang tongsem lep tsaware. Ane ta chenpa de la yewa tene yang kasang lep tenje kasang mangwa shwe tsayinba ne sangsenge chenpa kyabji chenpa choji chenpa sana sumyongo yore. Sangsenge chenpa te kyu noro ngobo la soba shenla saya tungya kwaya la soba ngobo nega treba denzo tedi sangsenge chenpa se yore. Kyabji chenpa te ne kanzo kange changdoyo kapsu kaso chowa, sadoyo kapsu silwa, nadoyo kapsu men kwa tedang denzo yi kandar kange denzo saya tang sok gyobe la soba denzo chenpa chaya di meji kyabji chenpa se yore. choji chenpa se na rikpa labi yare, sheja yunden labi denzo re. Ta sheja yunden labi yongzo choji chenpa nama du tobu re. Chedangi nga zo jikden korangi lobzhong te yongzo tende tomongi choji chenpa chagi re. Tomong mayimbi choji chenpa de kas tarba na tamche kenbe chok su gyurba, tobe ge lam su gyurbe choji denzo yenla sheba dan shenla ngore cheba yina te tomong mayimbi choji chenpa sana chagi yore. Wata denzo choji chenpa nama sum tangso na penyon kari yore se du ko kas ore chedan miji ka sangzing dorje chenpa dorje chenpa tangara cheba yina kiawa chenpa la samla dana no longjo toba dan zobe changjo gobang tobi yundu zana sanje ki senda peje zoye ki kyu chagi re. Miji kyabki chenpa la samla dana shen chenpa tang yundu tsai chenpa la soba kabso sozo ji tsa sedi yang la mingare chenpa la ming segirwa ta dewa sangma chikpa re. Yang ko tsai ringwa dan neme ba dan dende yi dewa tobu re. Ta sanje gobang tobi yundu zana ta longjo zobe ko ki kyu cha dogu yore. Tambe chö ji chenpa tang yundu tambe chö inanda ta tomong yi chö chenpa tang go ina mede xerab gyaba. Gyawa chenpa la soba nam gya xerab tang rikpa tang lobjong kari na yabu xe toba ji yungu re. Tomong mayimbe chö ji chenpa arche na tina gangsa de gyawa charab tang chö ji nelu tang tokpa. Yagdo dhruwa la pendo yungu yore. Ped na chenpa ma tang go yi nyemi roji xeba na mena sanje xiao shubi kapsu cha chumba je chung re. Ko ming la lam chen sikara, lam chen san lam chung chung. Korang lam chung, ming la lam chung sikara, lam chen. Ko chung chung re ko de mirik de chamsa re. Nanga mo ta kyagar de lo la chamsa denzo lobjong pe shu chumba chayan yi lo sol yore, gomshi yore. Chung chung ne tene kyewa tang konzo 가서 셔라 펠레지 초가 담데 자요래. 그 초가 제 상마 제래. 이나다 걸로 편도 가야 맞추네. 메스 셔라 교부 그리고 교 롭좀 가서 자는 셔기 말이. 이게 그 당보다 까도지 장가르잖아. 디셰 라 다우숨 거고요래. 까시에 차우절라 딱 카장 거와. 카시에라 다우숨 거. 카시에셔 버는 것만 까장교도 전부셔 살아. 덴데지 셔바 교체네 콜라 개경산나 라고요 말에 담서 가와 넘넘나 양 된거 연구 말은 상마지 유샤네 콜로 좀 잘 해주나 말아 된거 난 덴데 제베가로 된 거랑 예쁜자 채워대 자주 뭐 톱자는 거네 된거 난로 손님 레비 갑도 되는 잡는 거 배선바교 되도 인교랑 가르쳐 정선 라면도 Wanga nesu dende tosun loso, ya tan digira wana kyo nga nyamda drogi inbe labdi, drogi in namni korangi unja chewa diyi, dhaba suni chido re. Dhaba suni chido di, ko dhaba chena yanga chikpara, ko lobchong chego goyo re, kom nyamnin chego re, ko shero chigi yo ma re. Yang dende, mi sangma di kawal rona ko la tongchung shuda, nyamjibe shegi yo re. Ten ko dende, chigbi kala, tena nyamaji korangi choju di yang, ta korangi choju punja chewa di yang, ten ko la ta kyo yongsa ma re san. 저랑 가서 장 가서 남나 시험인데 저 죽서 나담나 레메고서 팔 피샤래 되네 대저 가서 상제 년연라 쉬비 갑서래 저 상제 년연에 마 샤고랑 배 그때네 바로 좀 년연이 고담라 근데 그 남친구 배 선바죠 문이 되네 상제지 저 가르쳐 송선데 근데 내 개개는 걸 비송선 네 다 광주 내 개개는 또 광주 조절하러 와 날 비송 딱 맞게 되네 다 가요 말을 되기래 다 되는 저랑 디체쇼스 가서 겐든 결론 남지 한국 장마 소쇼서 네 한국 장마 소쇼도 저는 특히 지고 던 현가 제가 말았어 둘착 문바착 라브레 둘세도 탈라와 둘착은 장마 소에서 문바착 문바 장마 소 특히 지고 남샤래 그 레지 또지 대신 셰베송도 특히 보데 콜로라 랩송래 현거 이거 특레 갈래 하버와 then dul cha momba cha la ko zangma so nyama chi zangma so nyama ni zangma so den ne tonda chi ni chal ro yong de ten ko samlo khor ko chi gu te ko lega che de samlo mo ko ro wa te samlo khor ya dul cha san khare la bin sare momba cha san khare la bin sare ko den samlo khor che ya dul se ju sana do cha che dang ga ja la thao do la so ba ten nyu mo ba ji pyon de so re do a momba san khare nyu mo ba pyon tham ji chung sa shi 때문에라도 와서 딘조 차범 장마 소바이나 섬제랑신도 또고 거든데 진 다가랑라 뭐게 되지 돈도 고민도 거냐마 숨시는 거 다좀 없어네 다좀 없는데 배면서 개발 정보당 쇼지되는 차용으로 하랑신지 되니 공가오지 대좀산의 상제를 저다래 거든데 미국과 된데 시야깔라 하고 그거 된데 거 다좀 간데스 토브리 다좀 토브리 근데 개발 정보되는 간데스 차래 다좀 톱사고 잘라야 거 대자를 다디 로주처럼 빠르 로주 또 쳐서 와 다좀 톱사고 잘라 잡아 종가 결론도 결론 개봐도 안에 이제 건발라 최셔가 또 그래 최셔 주디 가서 단당 가서 월쇼로도 와 이미 상지 가서 월쇼로 그래 그래서 미 본부서 더버서 버르고도 상지 가서 힘 죽바지 그래 단당 가서 장소 연내 가서 통해지래 연내 대저 가서 죽바 망보지 과점나 장샤기도 와 대로 대주바디 배주 단계래 그 벌수 도구도 선버도 그래 그 상지 이제 버드 콜로 루샤래 월쇼데 또 월쇼스 데디가 출 힘스 그래
Di kareche du pichiche yores.
데디 다 배주 담다 단계래 단다 뼈 까불 레가 믹스 되는 제고고나 근데 수지긴 나지긴도 코지긴도 된라 아니 상지 가서 개론 상마 좀네 버드 그래 월쇼로 그래 쇼고 말 데디 가서 힘 술신 배주 단계래 내가 출신스 그래 다망 저와 술랐더니 출신도 배저당고 미디어니 내가 대체하고 그래 제가 그래서는 상제지 되는 가서 그래 출신도 파랑 이제 마셔봐체 네 결론들라 배저 놓샤 결론들라 샤샤래 람전라 아니 다좀 망전데 뭐시지 되는 상제지 공부다 하고네 상마 거랑 출신 말로네 상마 남전라 출신 노래 버디 된 벌로도 되네 되는 안에든 상바 무슨 측봐서弄나도아 빼래서 상 아주 범물라 통중당도서 상제지야다 남준 건데 범물 단념치는 빼면서 야분난 거예요. 다단도 상제지야 가지고 천소 나송서 안에도 측봐서 건서 측봐서弄나 딱 콜라 짜게 쳐고로 측봐서는 아니 숨니 숨지 결론 되는 쉬가 레거 되는 쉬 팔을 제조는 아니 되는 사자 가서 잡다당 미망불라 되네 산지 남전 최셔가 레게여라 딱 간대지고 남전 이든 안에 든 소리 최셔가 돼서 계속 최셔가 내가 쉬어 미 몸다 하셔지 깨당 레버라 되네 티 대사 티 무슨 참고지 잡미 zaktobe kala khabu shukdu shambo je jak ta ane denzo lungnang ro sikwa sarwa kola ta chakja chaya shido tene je boten lamden ta sanje dang kelong sama je tangjo yindu ko ndogorwa lamden khora yang da ko tajumba tobe du sanje ji kimzam khari je tang ba khora ha go yore ta ane denzo no sanje je tangjo yindu no ko timando kamera chaya kamera kazan sanje chi ge tang mar dawa sangma je kola bor lu kyorwa tene sul bolu de dogora su mangwa de dogora ta kwa ten ane de zo kina dore ta tan kendin ba den zo chaba den zo nga zo la yabo chema so la man pe samba chote tene sani shogba che su sumba sheba ta tende ka zo ten che she go zu gre go zu yong de na lamchen chukti kang de la kande shu me me su je ha go yo mare ka zo ko zu jul ten shu song do ko ta jum ba top sar de na ka she ji ta yong de na gomba chem de do jo thong re 카셰지 남라 푸르죠 조송스 카셰지 자춘지 겐자스네 겐자 딜라잔네 조송스 카셰 자도지네 푸르네 조송스 카셰 매강로 총도 조송 카셰 추강로 따다 미도 조르담다 통용도 되니 미도 할레드는 고 미규마 마레샤 다좀도 도비오 레도스 되니시네 하고래 되는 공부 쳐야되는데 뭐보송 조르담다 된 안가서 매기 조르나 추 조르다 되네 여래 zuru yamasung dhamma tuya dhinda tun teni kewu bum dhumjo dhinzo palchar mangbo shoje tongda khazo raja tajumba top kashe teni gyunshu chirong dhinzo top kashe teni kyabdo dhan samje jo dhomba tas samje dhomba shuyo gyumar kyabdo dhomba dhinzo shuyo kashe kesul kelong dhinzo chak teni teni halam nisangma la teni kongyo choya la kuya songre teni kongka waji teni thesum sanda sanje la tiro teni yamsa waji chung song sada lamchansa dende mi kyobo dende shaya kala khagbo gazo lamna gosoye megun mede ko dende khande jin chagriyas so sanjal kante shudin den sanje ji len songre o ko mama sanje gosung ji kabji traba chigriyas traba musa kheba chumbo dende sum thamje la thoba meba kheba chigriyas yina yang ko shegyo de mela sikje labro chigriyo maryas zane 가조 우주제 가조 도나 요가 좋아 요가 lam ko labro chiga mara sujile shero chini mendwa ko kheba ta deu thobe da ngomangje ko kale mo bacha ba ko mong bacha we dire ko lobjo mo bacha de deu de se ta na se ba thama wa la de ta se ba thama ko ta juno thobe ka so yang tin ma cha ma se kyo mambu chi la ko pe mesel sherap kyo ko ba de mo kyo mo ba lang sa re ta na de ta se ba thama ta thama de re so ko 딜라양 공은 다좀뭐 토베지 저 겨와 딜라양 스바 타마오스로 텐델라양 kop면서 고바 된데 중인데 죄마시 비디 나민들에 다좀뭐 토베도 그런 겨와는 겨와 서럽고 검좀 연는 방법 제여를 된데도 그래서 어 된데 송도고 된데미나양 아니 롭좀 말랍디 미션라 말랍디 고 고바 쇼지 차송아
Lasso Kempela ti consot siknidi tulchak dan
문바착 착선 아주 개지 창마 잡스게요 봐 짱마 소스게요 봐 파에다 착가서 착
yeah
파에다 착가 착지 붙이는데
yeah
둘착 문바착
mumpachak
둘디
mumpa de
문바
nakung
나궁 나래
lasso
문바디 띠목제 둘디 더자 셔당 가자 타도라서 보지
So let's look at the pyramid of generosity, where it says that firstly, there is the training in generosity according to which we reflect on the faults of not giving away our body, possessions, and virtues from the past, present, and future, and then on the benefits of actually giving them away, and also on the reasons why they must be given away, and so on. Now, when it comes to the practice of generosity, we have the three types of generosity. The first one is the generosity of all material things. Right? The second one is generosity of protection from fear or danger. So when we're generous with giving protection from dangers. And the third type of generosity is the generosity of giving the Dharma, or we can say just generally sharing knowledge. right? Being generous with knowledge. So material things, the first type of generosity would be all the possessions, belongings, right? Whatever we have, we give. That's pretty straightforward. Where protection from dangers would be to provide others with needed respite or refuge. If they're too hot, we might provide some kind of cool shade. If they're cold, some heat. If they're sick, we give them medicine or shelter. It's saving their lives, right? In other words, if someone is in danger or someone has a lot of fear, we try to console them, provide them with some kind of help. That's also a practice of generosity. And the last one is being generous with our knowledge. That refers to all common, ordinary types of knowledge, any kind of education that we have received, right? Sharing it, using it for the benefit of others would be our practice of generosity. But especially it refers to, in the context of the Buddha Dharma, of course, this kind of generosity refers to this extraordinary knowledge, that of the Dharma, spiritual path. So sharing our skills, our understanding, our knowledge of the Dharma path, of the spiritual path. And here the text states that we need to reflect on the benefits, right, of being generous. Well, the benefits of being generous come in this and the future lives. We can see that from giving material things, we ourselves will become well off and rich. That's where the richness comes from, the wealth comes from us being generous. Also, the second type of generosity, protection from fear, results in our own long and healthy lives, and in the future lives, and eventually it leads to the attainment of Sambhogakaya, the kaya of enjoyment of the Buddha. And the generosity of our knowledge of Dharma teachings leads to intelligence, right? Well, we can say if we just share any common topic of knowledge, that would lead to our own intelligence and wisdom in this and future lives. And if we share Dharma with others, that would lead us to the recognition of the natural state, right? How things are already, life after lifetime, we will come closer to seeing things how they truly are. So that kind of recognition comes from us being generous with the Dharma teachings. And it's, if we were to think about the faults of not sharing, of not being generous, especially not being generous with advice, a piece of advice or knowledge, especially not being generous with the Dharma, right, our understanding, then the faults can be explained by, can be illustrated with a story that happened at the time of the Buddha. There was a Brahmin with the name Lam Tren. I'm not sure that's Tibetan. I'm not sure about his actual Sanskrit name, but Lam Tren means inferior path, kind of like insignificant path. So Brahmin, being born into a Brahmin family, means that study and education is extremely important. And so from a young age, he was immersed in, studies, but no matter what he did or his parents did, he could not complete his studies, even to the point of he couldn't memorize the alphabet. It would take him 3 months to memorize the first letter of an alphabet, and then he would move to second. It would take another 3 months, by end of which he would forget the first letter. So like really struggling and being so challenged to the point that he couldn't retain any knowledge, well, even the letters of the alphabet. So all the teachers kind of give up on him and said, well, that's it's a closed case, nothing we can do. He just not meant to study or understand anything in this life. Well, he had a brother. So later in life, he was just staying at home, right? He didn't get any education. And his younger brother already was a monk who reached some attainment, and he came home kind of begging for alms. So he saw his brother just sitting there staring at one point, right? And he was like, whoa, maybe you can become a monk, come with me. I'll take you to the Sangha. So he ordained, this Lam Chen, the inferior path, as the monk. But being a monk means that one has to pursue the studies and practice, right? But he couldn't do that. He was failing in all his studies, and so everyone was kind of looking down at him. Wherever he went, wherever he went, people kind of belittled him, and so even his brother kind of like gave up on him. Said, "Well, there's no way, I cannot teach you. It's like it just doesn't. It's not happening." So he came to the Buddha crying, saying like, everyone left me, no one believes in me, I cannot study, I cannot learn anything, I cannot memorize. And so the Buddha said, well, it's okay. You can just do this. You can clean the shoes of other monks while repeating just two phrases. That would be, the phrases would be, I'm sweeping away dust, I'm cleaning the dirt. I'm sweeping away dust, I'm cleaning the dirt. And you just repeat this while cleaning the shoes. And somehow it worked as a meditation, because he would just repeat this, without even thinking, but somehow it went so deep into his subconscious, saying this word. And in this, we can see that by dirt, actually, the Buddha meant ignorance, and dust referred to attachment and anger. And so actually, while repeating these phrases, while cleaning the shoes, he was actually sweeping away attachment and aversion, and cleaning, the dirt of ignorance. And cleaning in this way and saying this thing, repeating, 3 days afterwards, he became an arhat. He became a foe destroyer, and actually who was already extremely learned. And what happened is that at that time also the monks had to go each full moon day to the nuns and provide them with some teachings, and they all had to take a turn. Even the Buddha, and sometimes it's his senior disciples, and they were taking the turn by kind of there's a way to do it. There are like a special sticks made of that special wood, the bench of the sticks, and the one who collected that stick kind of had the responsibility, and it kind of would pass from one to another, and everyone had that responsibility kind of each full moon. And what happened is that the Buddha, he kind of put the stick to, in a way that it was arranged that it fell to this inferior path, right? The guy whose name was Lam Chen. And all the other monks, because they all were arhats, so they had this kind of clairvoyance, they could see that the Buddha did it on purpose. And so they followed his footsteps, and they also gave their sticks to this monk, Lam Chen. And what happened is that the nuns, they could see that now, all their, full moons is that just this person is going to come and teach them. And they heard that he was very incapable, right? They did know that over the duration of 3 days, he attained this high realization, right? And became just kind of, his knowledge just burst out open, that he became so learned over basically a course of 3 days. They didn't know, so they got really angry, kind of like humiliated. I mean, now, the Buddha was treating us as equal with the monks, and now, like, he's sending this guy, and all the other monks also turned their back on us, so they're sending this person. So they were really frustrated and kind of angry, so they were like, okay, we're going to teach him a lesson. We're going to make a very high throne and invite everyone, and it will be no point of, he will be so humiliated. So we kind of take, revenge. Like, why is it, him who has to teach us? So they have arranged everything and call out for public. And then the day of the teachings, in the morning, early morning, the throne was very high, and suddenly this monk Lam Chen was sitting on top of the throne. No one saw how he climbed on it. Some actually saw that he flew there. Some saw that he used like a ladder made of rainbow. Some saw like like flow of water brought him there. So actually there was a lot of miraculous displays right there happening. And so he basically, when he started teaching, what happened is that many beings, they attained right away some type of realization. Some entered into, so, like there are different degrees, different stages of the path of Shavaka. Some became the stream enters, some became, an arhat, some took some kind of attained the vow of refuge. So everyone attained some type of insight or realization. And so the Buddha's cousin Ananda was very, surprised. What has happened? The guy was really incapable of even learning a letter, let alone just teaching in a way that everyone is attaining some, degree of realization. So he went to Buddha and asked, like, what's the deal with this person? Like, what happened? And the Buddha said, actually, he used to be a very learned monk in the, in the past lives. He was a monk in the Sangha of the previous Buddha Kashyapa. But he was so learned, but very arrogant. So he didn't teach a word of Dharma to anyone. He just knew everything, but he didn't want to share. And so this is his last life before he attains, he was supposed to be his last life, right? Before he attains our hardship, or he goes out of samsara. And what happened is that because it's last life, all the remaining obscurations, all the past karma had to ripen, because later he's free, right? Next lives, nothing can ripen. So it had to be kind of ripening fast, all in this lifetime. And so the karma of not teaching the Dharma ripened in a way that he was very challenged, mentally challenged, and challenged in his learning capacities, right? But because he was also already a very good monk before, very learned monk, I knew that if he just would do some, repetition of few phrases, it will help to awaken that kind of knowledge from before. So I gave him that task, right, of cleaning the shoes, repeating those kind of magical words like a mantra, and that ripened his mind stream. But from this story we can see that not sharing the Dharma teachings with others could, result or potentially results in this kind of outcome of then the next lives being very challenged in our, with our intelligence and with our skills. So this is just a story to illustrate the pitfall of not sharing the teachings with others. That's all.
That's all. Nida jimbadi peje tagadi rikwaje. Nyeba tsuldrim la sungje tap tang te jedar sungzul nisa. Da sung da tsuldrim je paru da jamba kazang karasa gore. Bongsam saga mindo sungwe sem. Tenda je sungzo bongsam do je sung na soa. Da tsuldrim je gyu tang tsuldrim je ngo da shen yu de gyu sungje je tap din zore. 아니 대 제대로 송술다 되니가 원래 레기도 다 당보 송제제 탑제데 규디 가르고도 송제제 탑로 주도게 내라 소베 바위에 솔름 야고 송고는 아주 셈기 삽삽적인데 매미적해 좀 물어봐 삽삽 간제 고그레스든 아주 양 서버질라 아주 남가 배셔나서 양 서버질라 도테도 남매지는 로고 말해 삽삽 진데는 이 강내 또 사서를 사서물 잠내 가리고 dunne 가리leb서 삼라 템보 돈데 삽삽전에 로로와 와 된데도 전에 줄름 송견 미데 되도 남아고도 삽삽전에 로고레스 아니 대 봐요 네 랑도르지 미제베 템바 다 술좀 가려 송고도 송자든도 샘로 된 하랑 고고로와 개와 주든도 메개와 주든도 올라트롱 장제 선배들 라바 코란레 비군 그래 가시지 다더나 파진 쪽된 저라와 파진 쪽이 미든 쪽된 저 된저 다다 현네 맞제 바지 거기 요래 데 근데 잼바지 거좀 내가 뭐 딱비 세신 근데 되나 남바군도 나저 내 류지 대박 가르치고도 개와 가르치고도 나게 개와 가르치고도 딱지당네 대고 그래 뺀나 록지낭신 록지든 저기 록 रेला मंग तांग को लो कावा दुगुदो लो चा करे सागुदो तो तागजे तांग देगरो को नि न्याल ane kapa lo teba ina samlo de lo kala teyore yang tuzo la lo kawa jodo kande jodo ko taje dang rodo wa ki tang go do dang yang tabje shemba kare che go do na ko tabje tang ne tegre de nang shin che ne nga zo sem gi lunga yu sum gi le sangen kare che go do taje tang ne che go re lo zi nang shin che ne lan te go do wa o tende je ne go sum gi kare 내가 올라타고 शे신다 대송보디 되네 술좀 송지게 탑 약쇼를 다 템바 शे신 바이오스면은 술좀 되라 해 야부차도 그래 손에 가고 싫어 요 말에 템바 शे신 바이오스 용해 딱 하고 요와 용 하고도 용 미스 받잖아 말에 숨마도 수나 깔래 잡선에 용거로 냐마지 용거 말에 니 용거 말에 숨 용거 말에 아니 잘잘 용거로 와 나서
Di tapsum yona? No, tapsum mena.
탑숨 매나 술좀 갖고래 탑숨도 여봐 얘나 술좀 송야 레라고 셔다래
Yongerechik, right?
나서
So that was for the generosity, pyramid of generosity. And the next one is that of discipline. As the text states here, discipline is twofold. First is the math. Oh, sorry, actually, I'm looking at the different translation. So secondly, in terms of discipline, there's an explanation of, first of all, the means of keeping discipline. And then second, how to keep discipline through these means. So the first part of this paramita explains the methods for keeping our discipline. And second is then how to implement, the way of implementing these methods, how to sustain our discipline by using these methods. So first of all, what are the methods of keeping discipline? The means of keeping discipline are, as the text states, conscientiousness, which is a meticulous concern for what is to be adopted and what is to be avoided. Then mindfulness, which means not forgetting what should be adopted and abandoned. And vigilance, which involves continually checking the status of our body, speech, and mind. When, discipline is a mind of restraint. It's an attitude of restraining ourselves or guarding ourselves against something. And so the method then for guarding our minds against, and here it means harming others, so inflicting any kind of harm on others, right? The method then to protect, to guard our minds against that would be, first of all, conscientiousness, which in other words means being extremely careful. Conscientiousness means we will be very, very conscientious or careful. And we could imagine, to give an example to illustrate the importance of carefulness or conscientiousness, imagine that if you were walking at the edge of a very steep, high mountain. Walking on the edge, basically down below is an abyss, you will be extremely careful. Like really every step you will be, right? No one will be just carelessly running at the edge of a mountain. So being careful in the same way for our life would mean that we have this, mind attitude of conscientiousness, always being careful to what is to be done, what is to be adopted, and what is to be rejected. And mindfulness, or we could probably translate it here as recollection, remembrance. Actually, here it means not forgetting what is to be adopted and abandoned, right? We not only careful, but we constantly remind ourselves, we keep it in mind. And the third quality, the third method that we should be relying on is that of vigilance. I was translating it also in the past throughout other classes as vigilant introspection. So this is that vigilant introspection, the quality of the mind that checks what is going on right now in my body, speech, and mind, right? What, scrutinizing the state of our body, speech, and mind. What am I doing right now? What am I saying? What am I thinking? So checking ourselves vigilantly. Just like a shepherd is looking after his sheep, we can say, like, very constantly on, being alert, constantly watching out for some danger, right? So being alert and vigilant in this way, that would be the third method, third type of skillful means that guard, our discipline. And when we have these three methods, then the parameter of discipline will be very easy for us. If we are conscientious, if we're mindful, if we vigilant, that would say the job of accomplishing the parameter of diligence is done. Of discipline, sorry. It's right there. Otherwise, if we are not conscientious, if we're not careful, if we're not, mindful or vigilant, checking what is happening in our body, speech, and mind, then it will be very hard for us to have this kind of ethical discipline in our lives. Right? So it's only when we rely on this free method, then we slowly, day after day, we can accomplish this, the parameter of discipline.
Nipa te chedar songsul, tangpo trembe langdur meche bar chede, sheshin ye rangi lunga yesumye ne kabla, tangpo drupja kewe cho tangdu, melen bada nangja, megewa judo je sama namke mwashe bar chaasa. Tadi tenje shukyu dinzo rang redo, trembe je ta langdur meche bar che gore, langja parjin chuk dinzo kare re, dorja 파진 쪽이 medun chodun zo kare re. Ene changju yesam geba kare re. Ene changju yesam chobi geba medun chok kare re. Dona duk sumda dunga dinzo che dorja dinzo rwa. Dekune langbe lunga yesum dinzo di dorja rwa. Duk sum dunga meba na changju sam yesi samba de ene langja rwa. Dekune langbe lunga yesum di chawa dinzo ene langja re devire. Dinzo yakbo 모신의 섬로 전반적으로 녀르되고 봐. 너는 파진 쪽도 야고 녀르되고 그러와. 섬바 장주 쪽도 선제보다 조로 파진 쪽에 녀는데도 다다 전항랑 샤여 봐이나. 안내 전바스 그래. 아니 셰신지 되는 룡아지 좀 따져단 거고도 와. 개와 지금도 저기 면도 아니 대고 방도 방기 면도 다는데 따져단 거로 개와 제기 lamsang ta ngwashe kukure, kewa che sona o ta di kewa ri diyo sana dini mutu ne di gyunjan na ndo kukure. Kewa che kudu namne ngajal shuk chumba da che juyo maro, ina gao kumkure. O nga kewa che sona yakbo re, di lamsang owa che. Di nangshin samchang shenji yan di nangshin che tubar shuk, molam kyab. Che tubar chi nga che ge yin san. Samchang shenji yan di nangshin yakbo che che, ngara ya de tangi nyambe damja che. Ani o tende damja dang, owa dang, molam 아니 가서 그래 더 솔데 베래 제토 바지 용와라 산제다 장주 선보 탐지기 진지 럽시 그런지 섬진 탐지 내 판도 봐 어때는 거와 대단 rel로 돈에 ndro고 그래 다 소소지 메게와로 제번에 남성 무슨 전에 어다 디딩 맞은 게 너르샤 아니 남성 샤바 제고고도다 아니 다 샤바디 니뭐 톱시 된다는 저 가정 쉬자고라 아 샤바제 데니스 섬지 현수 년대나 맞아 버쇼 몰람잡 맞아봐 용해야 되네 탑시 단계 냠비는 가르쳐 그래 담자체 맞아봐 용어로 아니 섬진기한 대로 내가 봐 주엘라 아니 가서 그래 미용어지 용어 미용어 제도 안 잘와서지는 진짜 납시는 솔데 반델네 는 로고 그래 나서
And then the second part of this parameter of discipline is how to keep discipline through these means. So firstly, through mindfulness, we do not lose sight of what should be adopted or abandoned. Then secondly, because we're checking the status of our body, speech, and mind with vigilance, we recognize any occasions when we are tempted to avoid something virtuous or to do something negative. Because of our conscientiousness, we recall the benefits of virtuous actions and undertake them, or remember the faults of negative conduct and unwholesome actions and avoid them. So here, basically, it is the same what was just explained before, right? The three methods of conscientiousness, mindfulness, and vigilance. Well, mindfulness is this kind of recollection, keeping in mind what is wholesome, what is virtuous, like bodhicitta and the benefits of having compassion, loving kindness, the mind of awakening. What is unwholesome, what is destructive, what has to be abandoned, like the three mental poisons, five afflictions, right? mindfulness is this remembrance, keeping in mind what is virtue, what is unvirtue. And then what happens is that as we go through our days, we go through our lives, we have to pause and check by means of vigilant introspection whether we are actually keeping up to what we already know with mindfulness, what we already remember, right? Are we actually following those kind of guidelines? Are we practicing, are we doing something that's helpful and beneficial and virtuous? Or are we falling prey to our destructive emotions, right? And we need to recognize that, as soon as we do something wholesome or unwholesome, we need to be able to recognize and pause. And if we have done something good, it's really appropriate to rejoice and appreciate, that goodness that has been done, of course, without any arrogance or conceit, but pure appreciation of something that has been good, something that we have done positive. And then we should, at that time, we can also all kind of utter aspirations and dedications, thinking that the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all beings, please witness what I've done and bless me to continue doing that again, kind of asking for their, help or kind of guidance and, being our witnesses to our practice. And if we recognize that actually we have done something non-virtuous, not something constructive, when we recognize that with vigilance, right? Again, we talk about vigilance here, that method of vigilance, when we need to understand that, oh, okay, that was not good. And we need to confess using the 4 powers. Remember from before, we need to feel regret, right? We need to purify that and make resolve not to commit that again. Also, we should make aspiration and dedications such as may this never happen to me or anyone else again. May I be able to avoid or refrain from doing this kind of non-virtue ever again, and may all beings also be capable of restraining themselves from this. So this kind of aspirations, asking also for blessing from the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, for blessing that will help and guide us, so that we would never commit this kind of non-virtue again. So again, we reconnect with the blessing in this case. So, and to recognize whether we have done something good or not, that is possible with this method of vigilant introspection.
제 보여지 penyon 전에 당도 랑시 예주지 미게위 초지 예믹 전에 랑워로 자와 빵워로 자와라 랍스그레 다 보여지 네 개위 penyon 개와잖아 다르바당 탐제지는 거만 톱톱이로와 네 미게와 자바이나 네 코로나 년송로 홍보고 요바래 가인선나 개 미게 상마제 중세지 시디 셈도 도도고 요래 셈 서로보함 셈데 녀몽 바단 랭nembe 갑샤소나 아니 거는 상화 담제 마다 바샤도고리 동알지 상화디 야펠도고요래 다 셈상마다 다바 야고지 차바이나 다 차지지 유디 개와든 중인 바래 디 상마 다바자는 거는 상화도 다우로 도디 아니 동알당 강에도 마세제 아니 상도 야도 로고요와 와 텐데제네 히 토스 상마 셈진 오인바 해 셈지 송다 마송 네 라라레가 바로 셈송 소나 아주 가드네 야고요 셈마송 마송 바주 류다 나지고 가다 잡 송송송 셈데 균의 송저 제만이나 변다 시작하여 말해 아니 가이스데서는 르가 이 중시 거랑 셈데 류당 나지 배저당 조데 셈데 셈지 sabza chema tu lunga de kale chap jagar chena namje lue tangar chena yang rangja kale ngoma jin cha do gure sem tabu yabu nyar yongdu lunga rangshin ji ma tul do guru wa chidu chonjo zao kora na sem sung tu shu ma do ba tu shu chen ji chi shi cha sung yure Samsung ji tulju da chuba nyamni chema to lunga chibu bejo dang sonu de mare lunga gogre de so sem bejo dang ne ro yina an tarba dang tamju ji mo ma to be ji kyu sangma de ro gu yu bayo ji ko ne sem songjob che la ni bezun ya bu che go re sung sa re la so.
So that was for the first two methods, right, of mindfulness, keeping in mind, not losing sight of what should be adopted and what should be abandoned, and vigilant introspection that checks and recognizes what's going on. And as for the third method, with conscientiousness, we're capable of recollecting the benefits of virtuous actions, and we're also remembering the faults of negative conduct. And so we're trying then to avoid negativity, right? We then abandon non-virtuous conduct by recollecting its faults. So conscientiousness is the mind, can say careful mind that readily takes up virtue by recollecting its benefits. And what are the benefits of virtue? The benefits would be the achievement of state of freedom and state of Buddha, that is omniscience. And remembering the faults of unwholesome actions would be bringing to mind the results of unfortunate, taking birth in unfortunate states, being reborn in the kind of low realms. And all of that, virtue leading to good results and virtue to bad, really comes down to the mind. The results, benefits and faults, of virtue and non-virtue respectively, really again comes down to whether the mind is pure or impure. So impure mind, means filled with afflictive emotions and, kind of negativities will lead to our suffering. When we are in that state of mind, we suffer no matter what we encounter or where we are. That's what is meant, right? By, wholesome deeds leading to state of freedom. It means when our minds are filled with this kind of wholesome, positive, virtuous attitudes, that, purity of the mind leads us to happiness, where impurity leads us to suffering. Right? With purity of the mind, even if we encounter some difficult, troublesome situations, they will be seen as an opportunities. They will be seen as opportunities. They will be seen, through this lens of purity of our mind. And so they won't be seen as difficulties as such. So in this way, when our minds are pure, everything changes, right? The whole world is transformed because we see the world through the lens of our mind. And when the mind is pure, so then everything unfolds in this beautiful way. And we call it, right, the state of happiness and well-being is achieved. When mind is impure, it leads to our own suffering. We might wonder, but what about what we do with, physically or verbally? The actions of body and speech are all governed by the mind. If our minds are pure, and pure means again, kind of stripped, of afflictive emotions, purified of all the negativities and mental poisons, then, body and speech will follow. There will be, whatever we will do, whatever we'll say, all the actions, physical, verbal, will be also done kind of coming from that state of purity, right? And so it will lead to happiness and bliss, where, impurity of the mind, if the mind is not tamed, is the mind, if we're not practicing mind training, if mind is not trained, if it's not purified, it doesn't matter. There's no other way to control what we do with our body and speech, right? We might try to restrain ourselves, our physical actions, try not to say something. But if our minds are, kind of walling in this negativity, it will just still happen. Negative actions of body and speech will happen. So the only way to really keep the discipline of the body and speech is to train the mind, purify the mind. And that's what conscientiousness is doing, is remembering these kind of benefits, right, of mind's purity, of mind's training, and it remembers the faults of not doing these things and kind of keeping us therefore sort of very aware, very careful with our actions.
Also, joy no soro nang.
So yeah, that's all. And now this time for questions, if you have any. Maybe looks like there are no questions. Let's see. Okay, check your. Yes, Eleanor, you raised your hand. Yeah, go ahead. Would you like to unmute yourself and ask a question? I see you raised your hand, Eleanor. Can you hear me? You will have to unmute yourself, or I cannot hear you. No. Maybe you can type it in and Eleanor. Okay, yeah. Okay. Check. I think you typed it, but I am unmuted. Oh, I cannot hear you. Would you like to? I don't know if your question is difficult to type. Sometimes need to ask, but I cannot hear you for some reason. I think. Yeah. Okay. Kali yungere pilchadi microphone lega chegimindu. Nanti ta igi konetana randi gere triodi. Good things for the doing good. So I wonder about doing good things for the accumulation of merit instead of out of compassion. Yeah. Is that can you indicate that's okay? That's the end of the question, right? That's all. Like I'm just want to make sure there's nothing missing, like an example or something. So that's all the geva di drubi gi gyumtsen di sunam sai gi gyumtsen inayan ninji gyumtsen karisa ninji kunne malangne inayan sunam sai gi chedu di geva drubna kanjina ja tets ketzar po marepe ninji gi machena inayan tets chik jamana chik ragere da chik ra ragere dire de ti kanjina
le tangbo la ani de kwaji ani chala re kaza tangbo ke pejin chan tebi me nyemik denzo chamba ina kewa che la chowa che gere ta kale kumba nyeba sumba le mendo ani lenda na men se de ani ma le tangbo gere len se du nepal yabu che na sule yabu che gere chamba je lendwa na min ani se de la kewa che sona kewa che mangala dewa to gere nyamba de na min le rewa rewa kale ka leta namin rewa de lue tanga ne kani kaso wara kiawa dhruve di ta rimba kale yala zagdu te kogore
And then,
사절로 소소지 디 사절로 단단해 도투고 여봐나 소소지 뽑아디 여나 렌다 남이라고 와체 거기 배노 되는 남고도 잠다 닝다 장주기 섬들 거야 이행 가라 그래서 난다 나서 택바 첨부지 남까지 시기요래 택바 첨부 남까지 시도 장주기 섬 닝제도 여봐 시르샤 돈다래 닝제당 잘로 돈다네 파전 쪽도 좀 냠는 제가르잖아 양 원래 파전 차게 말해 젠바이나라 술리면나라 셰라비나라 파진 양도 버지 차고 거란 말은 닝지 전부함 장주 섬지 시스템바데 여바 시르 샤는 거지 시게 요래 아니 레 담보발 아니 렌다 남민 레와 중세 연아얀 되게 요래 갈레 다디 매바 소야지 잘라라래 매바 소야지 삼로래 맞어
Mhm. So as the beginners, we often need some kind of goal, right? Some kind of promise of getting something in return. That's why at the beginning of the texts and scriptures, we learn a lot about benefits and faults. Benefits, what will happen if we do, what will happen if we don't do, right? So when we learn about benefits of practicing good things, doing good things, like we will have more enthusiasm in terms of doing them. That's kind of, human minds work that way. We will like, okay, we will get that in return. But that's only in the beginning. Afterwards, like practicing for some time, we need to let go of any expectation of getting anything in return right now in this life, or getting something in return like in future life, some kind of karmic bonus. So but regardless of whether we're still in the beginning of the path where we need to be incited with this kind of carrot, or if we already sort of letting go of expectations, regardless, all the good acts that we do on the Mahāyāna path are done out of compassion. So compassion and bodhicitta, they are given, like that's they should be there. If they're not there, then whatever we do will not be a genuine paramita. So when you say good things, could be just in life, but if we talk about, more strictly speaking, good things as the practice of bodhisattvas, right, on the path towards enlightenment, then all of them always done out of compassion and out of bodhicitta, so the wish to attain enlightenment for the sake of others. But whether there is still a speck of hope to get something or not, that depends where you are on the path. If you already feel strength to let go of all hopes, all expectations, any kind of reward, that's great. Just try, go right there. Like, don't do anything with out of wish to get something like merit or anything. That's fine. But if we don't have that kind of guts yet, it's okay to keep to holding onto that kind of hope of reward for time being. Yeah, that's for now, it's okay. Well, but later, of course, we'll have to let that go as well. So it depends. So then I hope that answered it, and we are out of time. So so let's dedicate merit.
Sonam de damje zebani tone nebe chana bamje yega naje balam toba sebe zole doa doa shu chanjo zemjo remboj made banam je jurje Yeba nyamba meba yang Gong ne gong do berwa ra shu